Marcus Aurelius was a true philosopher king, but he wasn't the first or the last among the Stoics. The first emperor, Octavian, studied under Athenodorus. Hadrian took classes from Epictetus, and Antigonus was a kind of natural Stoic. But actually, all the Stoics were of the same mold. Cleanthes was a manual laborer, but he carried himself like his work mattered, like he mattered. Cato, a man in command of himself, had no desire for the power that Caesar so destructively sought. Epictetus was a slave, but he knew he was freer than most of the men in Nero's court. As Epictetus' teacher, Musson Rufus would say, "I believe a good king is from the outset, and by necessity a philosopher. And the philosopher is from the outset, a kingly person." For the Stoics, it didn't matter what one did for a living, it mattered how they did it. Yeah, sure, there was the job king, but far more important was being a kingly person, was conquering the greatest empire, the one that Seneca laid out, command of oneself. If we are to aspire to power, this is the type to aspire to. If we want to lead, let us start by leading ourselves. If we want accolades and privileges, let us seek to deserve them rather than to lust after and acquire them. And by the way, some of the names in today's message, Athenodorus and Cleanthes and Musonius Rufus, maybe that's not as familiar to you as Marcus and Seneca and Epictetus, the so-called Big Three, but they're actually just as fascinating, and in some cases, better examples of what Stoicism is supposed to be. And they're actually who I profile in Lives of the Stoics, The Art of Living from Marcus Aurelius to Zeno. Zeno being the founder of Stoicism, which also might not have totally landed with you. But I really wanted to look at who the Stoics were, what they did, how they lived, where they lived up to the philosophy, where they fell short. When I sign it, we have signed copies in the Haley Stoic store. I usually write acta non verba, which means deeds, not words. How do you practice this stuff? How do you live up to it? That's what the book's about. And I'd love for you to check it out if you haven't already.